So before I get started, I'm going to share some wisdom from the men's restroom. You find it everywhere. So last night, Deborah and I were blessed to attend the Silver Gala of Light of Truth Recovery for Women in Baltimore. It's their 25th anniversary. And so I had the occasion to be in the men's restroom. And while I was sitting there contemplating my navel, I overheard a conversation of a gentleman who was also in the restroom talking with someone about trying to schedule some time after Sunday service. and he, they're back and forth, and finally he said, "You know what's real is I have no way to predict if the minister gets blessed, he gonna go long. So we probably should plan for Monday." Wisdom from the men's room. I sat there going, I could be that guy. I could be him. So I'm going to endeavor to not be him today from a new awareness that it makes things difficult to schedule. I do want to start off, and I'll do my best to hold it together, for a recognition of the people that are deeply impacted by Hurricane Helene. Make no mistake, this is my home now, and I love it here. My heart lives in those native mountains of western North Carolina. And parts of my heart home don't exist anymore. If you know anything about the area, Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, gone. Gone. Chimney Rock, the town of Chimney Rock, is literally just a bed of sediment now, up to the roof lines. The dam failed in Lake Lure, which is going to continue to create problems downstream. I have friends in Asheville, and I'm imagining they're not able to listen because right now they have no cell service, they have no electricity, they have no running water. And so if we could just all hold them in prayer. It's an interesting thing to tie into values, right? Because last night while I was outside on the deck having my ugly cry, what I realized was the things that I value about that area, about the people there, about the history there, about the blood that, however little of it there is, of the Cherokee people that runs through my veins, and how I value that. And what I came to understand in that moment is that beyond the dictionary definition, a value is something that we feel. It's not something that we think about, right? Valuation of money, yeah, we can think about that, right? We definitely have a system of valuation. But I invite you this morning to drop down into your heart space as we collectively consider what are the values of this spiritual community. Not your personal values, but what do we collectively value? I want to make sure that as far as I am aware, and if I miss you, I apologize. We have online participants from San Jose, California, right now, from Frederick, Maryland, from Phoenix, Arizona, from Columbia, Maryland, and as best I can tell, although this group of 4 is a bit of a moving target right now, Panama. Right. And so I tell you that, A, to welcome you that are online, and to help us understand that we are so much more than what's in this room. We are so much more. And so as we're identifying our community values, perhaps we can imagine our community to truly be inclusive. We say we are an inclusive community, which means wherever you are, on whatever planet you're on, because I can't say for sure there's not life on another planet. Some days I behave like I might be from another planet. I'm not even sure I'm not an alternate life form some days. Maybe you can relate. Okay? So everywhere, everything, the grass, the parking lot we parked in, the sidewalk we walked on, if it's all God, God as a parking lot, God as a sidewalk. So that becomes part of our community. Now, in all fairness, we're not going to bring the parking lot into the room, although some of it does come in on our feet, but we're not going to actually pick it up, bring it in, sit it down. Not going to happen, right? So we have to get beyond our human perception that seeks to limit us, because our little lizard brain is so much older than our cognitive brain. And so it just wants nice, tidy limits that make the organism feel safe. Do not do any exploration. That sets me on tilt. And so when we begin to explore, little lizard brain goes, "Stop it!" And it gets louder and louder to get our attention until we actually stop it. Right? Today, I'm inviting us, if you have to tap yourself back there and say, "I got you," it's okay. If your little lizard brain starts chattering, just let it know. I hear you. It's okay. Shh, go to sleep. Right? You don't have to give it your attention. But I will tell you this, the harder you try to ignore it, the louder it gets. So I have found it immensely helpful to just go, "I got you. You're all right." Reassure it. It'll last for about 30 seconds, but at least it'll give you a little gap. All right? So we started this process of identifying our values. Why would we bother to do that? Any ideas? And we have Deborah in the room, so if you want to pop something in the chat on either Facebook or YouTube, she can relay that. But any ideas why we might want to identify our core values as a community?
Foundation for evolution.
Foundation for evolution.
North Star.
North Star. Because they establish our why. Right? They become the litmus test, the foundation, the North Star, so that everything we do has 7 values that it has to align with. And if it doesn't align with our values, we have to really examine, why are we doing it? Right? And it may be that what we ultimately want is in alignment with our values, and we just need to adjust the how. Right? There's lots of ways. I mean, what is creating the divisiveness in our country right now is not what we want. It's the refusal to discuss how to get there. Because underneath it all, best I can tell, people want safety. People want to live in peace. People want to be able to afford to live without struggling. And at the core of it, we want to connect with each other. But if we're unwilling to actually talk to one another about how to do that? All we get, and I'll let you figure out what this phrase relates to, all we get is a wet fire hydrant syndrome. Think about fire hydrants and wetness. You'll figure it out. You'll be driving home today going, oh. We can do better. We can do better. But we have to value openness. We have to value curiosity. Right? We have to value that there's more than one perspective on something. Which means we have to know who we are. Right? I've said this over and over again. I'll keep saying it. If your belief is so fragile it cannot withstand a challenge, get a bigger belief. Because if you really believe it, if what we believe is in alignment with spiritual principle, if it's in alignment with our soul, who cares who challenges it? Truth is truth is truth. Right? Have you ever once felt the need to challenge or berate a child that struggled with 2 + 2 is 4? No. 2 + 2 is 36. No, well, okay, let's try it again. Right? And we have patience while they learn. But we don't ever have an internal battle that questions, is 2 + 2 really 4? We don't, because we know 2 + 2 is 4. What color is the grass? Hey? And if someone is utterly convinced the grass is blue, what do? Walk away. See, we think these apparatuses called legs, we forget that we have them in moments like that. You have the divine, spiritual, physical ability to walk away. Now, if you have to stay and have the last word, well, that's a whole different conversation. Because that's evidence that you got some stuff to work on. But if you're clear about who you are, then you're instantly clear about who everybody else is. See, when I know that I am a one-of-a-kind, exquisitely individualized, never to be repeated, divine idea in the mind of creation, in the heart of God itself, living as God, expressing its idea of itself as my life, when I really know that, for one, I get goosebumps from head to toe. Find a way to say that to yourself that resonates, that you believe, that you feel it in every fiber of your being, that this is who I am. Because as soon as you do, everybody you look at is that. Because if there's only one of us here, it has to be true. Has to be true. The buttons on my shirt are a divine idea in the mind of God to express itself as a button. It sounds silly. And it's no less true. Right? I invite you, spend 5 minutes a day and just look around whatever space you're in. And wherever your eyes land, that plug is a divine idea in the mind of God. That outlet is God expressing itself as a receptacle to move electricity. I dare you. We're a New Thought tradition. I dare you to have one. I dare you. Be warned. It will change your life. change your thinking, change your life. So, back to this thing of values. When you know who you are, your values will naturally align with spiritual principle. They just will. It's effortless. It's absolutely effortless. So this morning, there are 25. Jamie, can I get your assistance here? Dr. Phil, would you help out also, sir? Help pass these around the room, sir? Thank you. There's 25 values. Those are the 25 we've narrowed it down to. I'm going to move this slide. Jesse, it's a couple of slides in because I didn't even use these. It's that one. If you could get that one up for people online. Did we lose Jesse? So hang on, folks, online. Jesse, we'll get it for you there in just a second. You can just advance the slideshow, Zeta, until it comes up. I can't see what you're doing, so I can't help you. Okay, and you can actually take me out of the picture so they can see the whole slide better, if you know how to do that. So for you folks that are online, here's the deal. Instead of typing in the whole word, you can just put the number of 7, the top 7, whatever 7 values are most important to you. I invite you to put those in the chat. Deborah's monitoring Facebook and YouTube, so wherever you are, you can do that. And she's got a tick sheet, so she's going to get your consciousness expressed in this process. If you need a pencil, raise your hand. Laura Service has got some pencils. If you need a pencil or a keyboard wherever you are online, sorry, I can't help you. So if you guys can just play a little bit of noodling while they're... Yeah, so here in the room, just check the 7. You're only picking 7. 7 of those 25 values that most align for you with what the collective value of Columbia Center for Spiritual Living is. A spiritual community. I invite you to even take out the name Columbia CSL. What are the 7 most important values for spiritual community to establish as the compass, as the North Star, as the litmus test?
Bluetooth mode.
When you have it, just shoot up a hand and we'll come get it in the basket when you're done. So no rush. word.
I love you.
Recognizing that the infinite is love, is humor, is peace, power, presence. That this one is every value expressing itself as word, as meaning, as understanding, as experience. I recognize that every response is a response of the infinite, moving the highest expression of itself into being. That every response online is the mind of God, the heart of God, expressing the desire of how it chooses to be expressed, how it chooses to be valued, how it chooses to value itself in form, how it chooses to live into its values. And so I celebrate. Before I even know what the seven are, I know that they are perfectly matched, perfectly expressed as the core values of this spiritual community. That lives will be touched, that direction will be divinely guided, that we collectively as a spiritual center, as a safe harbor for every seeker to come into port, to refresh, to replenish, to learn more of who they are, and then to go back out into the world to be the divine expression that they are each created to be. Because this is the nature of creation. It is not bound by time and place. It is not imprisoned by a place. It comes together to recognize itself, to animate itself, to expand its experience of itself, and then to express itself. So I celebrate. I celebrate that the activity of law has already made it so. The activity of law that only knows one word, yes. That receives everything and responds yes to it all. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. So I release any shred of resistance with an open heart. I let it be. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, beloveds. How blessed are we?